The former Prime Minister Liz Truss is now leading the anti-CCP movement in Britain, and she decided to start it off with a speech. Okay, I feel like these days we talk more about the former PMs, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, than the current Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, but that's a whole different problem for the Tory party. Also, before we get into this issue, because of course Liz Truss has come out to finally lead something, and because until now we had Ian Duncan Smith and a couple of MPs like him who've been very robust against China. Nobody listened to them, but now Liz Truss is joining that wave as well, which is good. At least she was a former PM for 10 minutes. But at the same time, let's not forget, some of the Tory members and Tory supporters of Liz Truss and Boris Johnson, who until 10 minutes ago were complaining about other former prime ministers keep intervening, like John Major and Tony Blair and all the other nutters. Now they're absolutely quiet and fine with the fact that Boris and Liz keep intervening. So that's the whole hypocrisy. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But let's go to Liz Truss first and see what she had to say.
And it wasn't long ago that in the United Kingdom we hailed the golden era of UK-China relations. We rolled out the red carpet for the Chinese president with all the pomp and ceremony that came with a state visit. I should know, I attended a banquet in his honour at the time. Looking back, I think this sent the wrong message.
Okay, regardless of what we think of Liz Truss, I'm so glad that she started with that. Acknowledge the past, acknowledge the mistakes, and don't really shift the blame or anything else, because you had David Cameron, George Osborne, all these guys doing the red carpet, as Liz Truss said, and started shaking hands with all the CCP tyrants, pretending that, well, we could turn them into one of us, free market economy, and they're going to be capitalists like us. Of course they're not going to do that. They're just going to use it against you, and of course they did that. And I actually talked about it yesterday when I said the CCP decided to copy and paste elements of the capitalist system in the West. Some people, I saw a couple of comments saying, no, Maya, they didn't. They did something else. I'm like, that's exactly what I said. That they didn't copy the exact model. It's state corporatism with the actual tyranny and authoritarianism. And we're actually, ironically, countering it by doing a similar thing in the West. So we're also going towards state corporatism, but not exactly the same level. But at least it's getting closer to that, which is not really good. Let's see what else Liz Truss had to say.
A few years later, China removed the two-term limit on the president. And the one-party state strengthened its grip on power at home. And it also gained even more influence on the world stage. We ignored far too many of the warning signs, from the Tiananmen Square massacre to the so-called Uyghur re-education camps.
Yes, but these warning signs were already there. And there were people who were talking about this 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But of course, the political class in the West were way too ambitious and very, very excited about their new friends in Beijing. Now it's backfiring. Now you have people like Liz Truss coming out to say, oh, oops, we were wrong. It's a bit too late, isn't it?
But since it was the free world that enabled China's rise, it must be the free world that challenges its economic dominance before it is too late.
It will help if we stop buying cheap nonsense from China. But we can't right now because everything and everybody, all the countries are addicted to Chinese products. And we have to bring back some sort of mechanism to create either in the West our own industries again, which is again, it seems like going backwards to the manufacturing days. Or maybe there could be other friendly countries that could still also provide affordable products, whether it's your t-shirt or your iPhones or whatever, that we don't have to completely go back to Beijing and use their sweatshops, and also just not just in terms of immorality of it, but the dominance. They are completely dominating, not just in terms of the markets, the global markets, but of course, financially. A lot of the international debt that the West has goes to China. We owe it to them. And that's absolutely embarrassing. The Wuhan stuff started there, and then we also went back to the Chinese banks to borrow money to fund our lockdowns. It's absolute insanity. And we also got their PPE and face nappies and everything else from China. Absolute insanity. Let me know what you think in the comment section. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in half an hour and talk to you guys about another former Prime Minister's intervention, Boris Johnson. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.